Hey all, welcome to my backyard. This is my pool. And last night, wife and I decided to go for a little dip in the pool and came across a snake skin that was sitting just there. And that sort of turned us off going for a swim, so went and sat in the aircon and had a shower instead. But what I'm going to do is get rid of this deck because that's where it loves to live. We've seen it a couple of times. It's a red belly black snake and guessing around 1.2 metres. So yeah, we're looking to get rid of its little living habitat and then it can go find somewhere else to live in the bush back there somewhere. So those screws seem to be pretty well rusted in there. Little Ryobi can't really seem to pull them out. So I did think that might be the case because I reckon that deck's been there as long as this pool has. So what I'm going to do is cut along each of the beams with my circular saw. So cutty it is. Let's hope I don't fall in. Well, that seemed to work. Cut through across the beams there, and I should be able to just reef them up from the pool side backwards to disconnect from the beam that's underneath there. And then I'll do the same on the backside, or I might just be able to reef them all up from that point. We'll see how we go. Being a little careful, given snake could still be living under here somewhere. So keep an eye out. Might go get some gloves. Alright, we're going to have to do some more cutting because these are screwed in with massive bolts with posts next to them. So I'm going to have to cut along the sides and then I'll be able to either get the angle grinder to cut the bolts or hopefully just lever them out. But while these are there, I can't get access and these screws are too hard to get into. So more cutty. When the hammer fails, we go the crowbar. Here we are, the final stages of demolition. Just got these posts to try and get rid of. And lastly, I'm probably going to repurpose some of the sleeper timber that I've done and just put it across this section here because those tree roots at its surface you can see are starting to come through, and that timber was doing a good job of sort of redirecting them. So I'm going to put some timber across the edge there, dig it in, and hopefully that'll keep those roots on the surface area at least away from the pool. Yeah, it's been raining, so this isn't sweat. I don't usually sweat. Here's my first attempt at the recip saw. Safety glasses. You may have noticed a quick costume change. The other shirt was getting a little wet from the rain, mostly, and a little bit of sweat. So I've still got some digging to do. Now to see if it'll fit. Now to loosen up the soil, level it all off, fill up that little trench, and then I've got to go to the shops. Hey all, back again, and we're going to be working on the backyard deck, or what was the backyard deck. Sticking with my fancy lawns, I've actually decided that I'm going to turf all this section, which means that I'm going to cut that concrete strip and then turf from here up to where the waterfall is, about there. I've been looking at some shade tolerant turf. Zoysia is still coming pretty much on top. There's buffalo, Sir Walter buffalo, and another grass called sweet smother. But honestly, I don't really like the idea of those two, and the blade of grass don't look as nice. So I'm just going to go with Zoysia. Got my kit set up here. I'm going to repurpose this timber from the deck. Going to plane it down with my Arbortech turbo planer. Smooth off the timber, rough it up with a rough sandpaper, and then place it down along here to cover up that bit of concrete. So stick around and see what happens. Whew. So I've been working away at trying to finish off and smooth out this timber. Here it is here. She's looking pretty good compared to that. Nice and dressed and smooth. And that's pretty much what it's going to look like, but I'll probably have them straight. Or I might curve it around. I might end up cutting them and curving it around. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. See what the missus says. But I'll give you a quick demo in terms of how I've been doing the actual dressing, I guess you could call it, of this timber. So I'm going to set up the camera and you can watch me. I'll probably try and speed it up because it's very repetitive. And I figured I'd just do it once because I've just been doing the same thing. Other than my son came to the rescue with his electric planer, and that has really helped speed up the process versus me using my Arbortech turbo planer. So, going to get the circular saw, cut it to size, get the electric planer, and then take the layer off here, and then get my belt sander, finish it off. I just sort of smooth off the edges to make it nice and pretty, and then ready for fitment. Give you a little look at the finished product. Nice and smooth now. I did it with a 120 grit, and that was with the intent that it's still got a little bit of rough surface for non-slip, because it's going to be near the pool and it will get a little bit wet. So as long as it's not splintery, I'm happy. And just rounding off the edges with the sander as well. This is what I'm planning for it to look like. I just got to do these last two. They won't be the ones because they got knots in them and very difficult to try and finish off, so I'm going to use these longer pieces here, but I'm just using these as demos to see what it looks like. It's a bit hard to see in the camera, but I've drawn a line here, so I'm going to cut that off there to shape the rounder edge of the pool, and then on this side you can see I've drawn a line there, and that's going to follow that, and then it'll just finish off straight across that section. Alright, well, daily snake check's done. Haven't seen anything come out of that garden, so we should be good. Today is to finish off the timbers, which I prepped yesterday. Got to build a little frame to sit on this section. And then the next step is to prep this area for some turfing. I'm going to cut that concrete away, so I need to go hire a demolition saw and then get rid of some of those rocks. I'm going to scrape all this bark into the back garden area there, and I've got some under turf that we need to get rid of from up in the front yard and dump it down here in the backyard, ready for laying turf tomorrow. Wish me luck. Alright, there's a little seat done. I just got to screw everything together and then mount it to the pool. So that's nearly there, but my lovely wife reminded me that I'm supposed to be turfing this tomorrow, and I actually forgot to hire a concrete cutter to get rid of this. So I'm just going old school with a sledgy. So yeah, have fun watching that. What I'm doing is reefing my crowbar under the slab and then lifting it up to loosen it, and then forcing some pieces of timber underneath it to get it up off the ground. Then I can whack the crap out of it with a sledgehammer and break it into pieces. Time for some wackies. There'll be plenty more of that, so yeah, just puffing and groaning. I reckon that's it. It's all manageable pieces now. Done. Concrete conquered! So, I've cleared all the big bits of concrete and loaded it into the wheelbarrow, wheeled it all the way up to the front of the yard, ready to take it to the tip. That was like 4 wheelbarrows full, and uphill. It's exhausting. But anyway, enough about my fatness. Got to shovel the rest of this up. I'm just going to repurpose these rocks and top up some of the existing gardens. And then I'm ready to start laying the underturf, which means more carting up and down hills, unfortunately. But we're getting there. Here we are, next stages of the build. Beautiful wife is helping level out the soil. You know, Sunday dress. Been a pretty big day. It's coming toward the end of it, it's starting to get dark, and I'm pretty buggered. But yeah, pretty much after I got rid of the concrete, I just loosened up all the soil, got rid of the bark and roots. Just marked out where it needs to be levelled. Got to try and lean it away from the pool a bit. And then tomorrow turf comes, start laying it, and then I get to finish off the seat. So yeah, hopefully before the weekend's done, this video will be over and you'll see the final product. G'day, g'day. So I've been cutting some more under turf this morning just to level this off, and I ended up getting rid of the exposed sleeper along here. The reason for that is because I want the grass to grow over it, and it was like sort of all uneven, so I actually just buried it deeper to still try and stop those roots from coming closer to the pool. And then hopefully the grass will just grow over the top of it. So looks a little neater, and still need to finish off the little steppy stooly thing here. Yeah, nearly there. Turf's arriving and we'll be laying that shortly. So in the meantime, I still have to cut that concrete section along there and mount that to the pool. So I'm going to start working on that now and hopefully be done today. Here it is. So I skipped a few steps because time was getting away from me, and I had to get the work done, and I didn't have time to do the filming, so sorry about you missing out on the last few steps. But pretty much it's just laying turf and then securing the deck, which I'll show you now. I call it a deck, but it's more like a seat. So I just got to oil the timber, and it's all done. There it is. I think it's a good transition from the old dirty deck to what it is today. I went with Zoysia australis, very good shade tolerant lawn, and hopefully she'll be a bit hardy. It doesn't get a lot of wear and tear around here anyway, with the kids running around playing around the pool. And yeah, hopefully it stands up to the salt water when it gets a few splashes. Other than that, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it turns out just as nice as my front lawn. Stay tuned for more mowing videos when this is ready to mow. Or some crying videos if it dies on me. Time to do a little bit of oiling on the timber. I'm just going to rub it on with a rag and do a little test spot on the side here where you won't see it, just to make sure it's okay. Let's see how she goes. Looks wet. Nice. Oh yeah. I think it's going to look sexy. Here we go. That's gorgeous. I'll do some more rubbing and you'll see the end result. Would you look at that? Look at that dick. I'm very happy how that turned out. It looks so great.